the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right. They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a -65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that then
your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like -65, this early into the season is pretty rough.
That's horrible.
The pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers in 2017. He's 0-4 with a 6.05 ERA. In May alone, he already has 12 earned runs in May. And, another one of their pitchers, Clayton Richard, he's 2-4 with a 4.34 ERA. And, in May, he has 6 earned runs and 12 innings pitched. So they're not pitching well. And on top of that, they are also not batting well.
Right. But it kind of sucks because Manuel Margot is doing pretty good. His the past few at bats, his last.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty when he rants about his staff.
I agree. Can you come on? I told you stop touching that button. Why is it so loud? God. Did you turn one all the way up again? Do I have to come in there? God damn her. If it was going right, I would let you do your part, but I'm sorry, but it's just not functioning the way it's supposed to be. You lied on the air. I told you mind your business.
Well, Monty, if I can comment on the Jennifer Holiday situation, I can.
I know I'm live on the air. I'm sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
I know I'm live on the air. This is why this whole show is called Talk Lately. Anyway, let's get back to every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Like a sample, music is expression, missionary ENT, A&R the session. Life is like a sample, music is expression. Come down to a spot, A&R the session. Never wanted anything but just to rock. We coming down to the tube, so sit and watch. And everything, every single city block. Every artist come down and give a knock. See if you got it made. Come down, round our way. Don't treat it like another day. There's something you gotta say. It's mainstream, it's underground, it's everywhere between. So tune in and let the microphone converse your dreams. So talk about it, industry life, and learn lessons. Missionary ENT, A&R the session. Life is like a sample.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Are we on? We straight? We straight like Nate? All right, everybody. Welcome to the Black by the Band radio show. We do apologize. We didn't get on earlier today as we anticipated. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here with the second half of the show for you guys. And we are talking about mental health in the black community today. And, of course, we are here with my co-host, the lovely Ms.Janice, as well as Samantha D., our model and rep for our apparel.
Yeah.
And our special guest, Miss Felicia Roche, out of Philadelphia. So welcome everybody. We are now back online with Facebook. So let's send out a couple invites, you know, and we'll get them the second half of the show here. But while I do that, let's talk about the lack of money and insurance when it comes to mental health. That's got to be a big one because, like, is that even covered in like your basic insurance packages you get from work?
Specialist visit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a specialist, but the issue with insurance is that you have to have a diagnosis, right? So we are straddling between having mental illnesses, like where you're actually prescribed medication, or you have an actual diagnosis of depression or schizophrenia or anxiety, whatever your diagnosis is, versus preventive care. Right. So people should. I am a firm believer that people should have therapists. Because
I've never had it, but I get it. I get it.
It's really good, especially if you're going through something, whether it's a loss, a job change, location change. To have that time, whether it's an hour, 45 minutes, that's just you, just about you and no one else. And to have a professional be able to ask the right questions to help you get the answers that you need in order to process and move forward is very important. But and I'm part of my advocacy work is the belief that we should have, just the same way we have primary care physicians, we should have primary mental health physicians.
That makes sense.
And we should have preventive care that goes in. We're talking about wellness altogether. You got to have time to be able to, whether it's praying or meditating. And we're talking about, again, diet, what you eat. That has a lot to do with the
Healthy
chemical
mind,
imbalances. Right. And to have a healthy mind, exercise, whatever those things are that are going to keep your mind healthy, people have to think about preventive care, and a therapist is a part of that. But unfortunately, with insurance, if you don't have a diagnosis, they're not paying for it.
They're not paying for it, right? Yeah, that's the game.
You can't just say, I want to go talk to somebody.
That's the game.
And a lot of people, not even in the black community, I'm just going to say the majority of Americans are not able to pay for a therapist hourly out of their own pocket. Medication.
In my own personal job field, I've seen lots of people come into the pharmacy and can't afford their medication, and they're stressed when they can't get, and to me, I don't suffer that same illness that they do, so I don't really understand it. But if they can't get their antidepressants, it's almost like the end of the world.
Right.
And I'm not until today did I really think of it outside of just my own personal mental health, but what they're going through. It gives me a little bit more of an understanding as to the seriousness of what those medicines are doing for them.
Yeah, especially people with bipolar. Some people are not able to function when they're off of their medications, and it takes a while to get those medications in your system to the point where you get leveled out. These are, and going back to when we talk about the differences between cultural and trauma type of factors that cause mental illnesses or emotional problems versus people who have chemical imbalances and have biological factors that are causing their illnesses. Those people 9 times out of 10 need a medication in order to balance them out, whether it's an antidepressant or there are so many out there, but sometimes they find the right fit, and it keeps them level and it keeps them active and functioning. And then, like you said, if they can't get their medication, they're going in a whole other direction, and it happens quick because once it's out of your system, those imbalances come back. So that is like you said, the cost of medication, and it can get really expensive.
And I'm very happy that you mentioned about the therapist, about we needing the therapist, because a lot of people are exchanging the therapist for like prayer, and a lot of people is not getting, and they're not getting the help that they need because they saying like you don't need that therapist, like they're taking that therapist out of it, and I'm glad you mentioned that a therapist is necessary.
I was in church 3 times a week for years, probably good 15 years. It wasn't getting better.
Right. Unfortunately, right?
It wasn't until I went and got professional help that I saw a complete turnaround.
Exactly.
Like,
isn't that like a big thing in the black community where you're supposed to, if you feel them kind of ways, then you're supposed to go to church?
You go to church.
Yeah, well, we think prayer is the answer to everything. And let me give clarity when I say that, right? Because I'm a true believer in prayer, right? But I'm just saying, my take is that we take prayer as the cure, So like if you're praying to God, maybe the prayer is being answered when he puts it in your mind to see a therapist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Instead of just thinking 3 more weeks of this, I'm be straight. You know what I mean? My mind's gonna be right. Jesus got the wheel. It doesn't actually work like that. Like, you are humans. Yes, God created our body, but he also created ways for us to deal with the issues we knew was going to come about, and it deals a lot with other people. You know, he's given other people certain skill sets.
Exactly.
Bless them with that to help you, you know, but you got to get in contact with those people. You know, you can't just, I'm just going to pray it off.
That's where that percentage comes in at, the ones that's turning the help down.
Right.
They just want to go to church. And again, not to take anything away from prayer.
Exactly.
I use prayer and meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, it's a good thing.
But if you had diabetes or cancer,
right?
You know, people, yes.
Which I have a lot of experience with.
Yeah, pray that you get better, but
right.
You're not going to just pray.
Right.
Like,
pray this chemo works, right? Yeah. Pray this chemo works, right? Pray this radiation works.
Same way with mental illness. That's the thing we have to realize, that it's an illness. Like, something is not right. Something's
not right.
So you have to get professional help, and that's a sensitive subject too in the Black community, because we know that a lot of the majority of the medicines, the majority of the science that's out is based on what, you know, it is made for white people.
Right.
Like,
true.
It's made for white people.
Absolutely.
It is. Made for, you know, by white people for white people.
Yes.
So that's why another part of my advocacy work is trying to get more people of color into the mental health field and behavioral health field, because we need our own to start doing research, studies, and start really focusing on the mental illnesses and the mental health needs of our community, because they're different.
They're very different.
And even chemically, the medications that we would need is different from people, white people. So we have to make sure that we are focusing more on our needs, which include, of course, prayer.
Right.
We need other scientific research and things like that. That's going to
and maybe the type of therapist, you know, who can relate to your socioeconomic conditions. So a Black therapist can understand some things that you say that a white therapist wouldn't.
Right.
They never lived that life. You know what I mean? They haven't been Black. They might not be able to relate to it. Only 3.7 members of the American Psychiatric Association are Black. You know, like it's a low percentage. And only 1.7 of the American Psychological Association. So I definitely think we need more of our own people in place to be able to understand, let's see, cultural differences, right? Which would deal with personal beliefs, norms, values, and language. Plays a key role in every aspect of our life, including our mental health. Cultural competence is a doctor's ability to recognize and understand the role culture plays in treatment and to adopt this to the reality of your needs. Unfortunately, research studies have shown a lack of cultural competence in mental health care. This results in misdiagnosis and inadequate treatment. African Americans and other multicultural communities tend to receive poor quality of care. So there it is right there. You know, they can only relate but so much. They don't come from, you know, that particular background. So yeah, I think we got to have more of people who can relate to what we call our norms, right? What about distrust and misdiagnosis? Historically, African Americans have been and continue to be negatively affected by prejudice and discrimination in the healthcare system. Misdiagnosis, inadequate treatment, and lack of cultural competence by health professionals breed disgust and prevent many individuals from seeking help or staying in treatment. So evidently, we're not even that confident that, you know, if we do go to a professional and they're not a Black person, that they could even relate and may misdiagnose us. May leave out of there with a placebo pill.
Yeah.
Right?
Because sometimes in those situations, like, how are they going to say, like, okay, this could just be a incident where you're just sad. And now they say, like, you know, I'm depressed or have bipolar.
Yes, love pushing
and
medication.
I was just sad for this week, but I could come out bipolar by the time I get out that doctor's office.
I'm a Black family physician.
So
my family doctor is Black, and I've had him for almost 20 years now. But one time I was doing my little routine visits. Him and I was having a conversation. I don't know. I think somewhere I must have felt the vibe that he wasn't really appreciating how much I appreciated him. So I just asked him, you know, and he's going to be on the show, so he will see me talking shit about this, you know. But, you know, I just said, look, you know, like, I appreciate having you as a Black doctor. I want to make sure that you appreciate that I appreciate that. And he's like, oh, yeah, I do, Mike. I said, because I don't know, man. Some days I come in here, I don't feel like I'm relating to you the way I should. You know what I mean? Put the books down, brother. I'm talking to you about something, right? So he's from upstate New York. You know what I mean? I'm not. So I had to make him realize I want to talk on a brother-to-brother level, right? I know I'm here, you the doctor, you're going to do your thing, but I want to be able to say, look, doc, this is what I'm dealing with, right? Something's going on at home, you know what I mean? I'm falling short on this. Stuff is messing with me, you know what I mean? I want to be able to relate that. I don't think I'd feel comfortable doing that with, like, a white doctor. Nah, because he's looking at me like, he can't relate to that.
Right.
He can't remember the last time he had to stretch $2,000 out for 30 days. I remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He ain't going to be able to relate to that, you know, so I think it plays a part.
Distress is huge. We come from a place where we know back in the day they used to do all kind of testing on black folk medically, and a lot of people just grow up learning. You don't trust them white doctors.
Right.
And I would have to say I felt, I've made it clear in my request for a therapist has been a woman of color because that's who I want to talk to.
Yes.
So people, when you do go for help, when you are, whether it's regular doctor, PCP specialist, or mental health, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
Yes.
You know, if a doctor's telling you, if you're saying, I feel this, whether it's physically or mentally, and they say, well, that ain't nothing, or no, you don't, you keep fighting. You keep advocating for yourself because your insurance company is paying them to take care of you.
That's right.
So I would say don't be afraid to stick by what you're saying. Say that I'm not well, I know what I'm feeling, and this is what it is, and this is what I need treatment for. Or if you don't agree with the diagnosis, ask for a second opinion.
Right.
Second opinions are free under insurance, so go get a second opinion.
So if the insurance covered the initial, it'll cover the second opinion. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's hard to trust doctors. I had a doctor once. All I was trying to do was just get my health together, get my weight under control. She prescribed me Adderall because the side effect was weight loss. Yeah. So that goes with that trust with the doctors, like,
and always pushing medication.
Always pushing
that was
medication.
The first, and I went to my doctor. She prescribed me the same thing, and they understand that it's not for weight loss, but because it's a side effect of it, then they'll give you that, which I just didn't understand.
Me neither.
It's a narcotic. It's a controlled substance. That you give me this for something that's totally unrelated.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's just.
They didn't know you was familiar with them prescripts, right?
They don't know, but I know from my regular life.
That's right.
And they have a tendency not to trust certain people who come in their office that look a certain way. But know that if you teach them what certain behaviors and activities will do for your body, that they'll follow through.
Right.
I'm fortunate enough to have finally found a doctor after switching doctors over and over that say, you know what, I'm not going to give you this medication. Here's a medication that can help with that issue, but I think you could do it naturally. So here's what I suggest.
I love natural.
It's not even like a holistic doctor. She's I was just fortunate enough to find a doctor that does that.
Right.
So I would say also ask questions. All right, I understand you want to prescribe this medication, but what natural ways could I have?
Right. Do you have info for me on that as well?
That information
right.
As a medical professional.
Yeah.
True.
At the time, they just want to push the medication though.
Right. Definitely. Hold that thought. We gotta go to break, and we'll let you continue.
I was just trying to think of what something was called. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take another break. Stay tuned. What is Black by the Man Radio Show? Special guest, Miss Felicia Roche. Stay tuned.
Is what it is. Radio show.
Go ahead.
All right, listen. All right, say situation. Cause I keep telling y'all, it's different situations in the child support thing. You can't just pinpoint one thing. You can't just say, "Oh, here did be. That's why you're on child support. Oh, he this. That's why you're on child support. Oh, she this. That's why she on child support." No. Sometimes it could just go off of, "Oh, I just called him and asked him, can he pay for the pictures? He ain't want to pay for the pictures. I'm taking his ass downtown." Yup.
Well, you got to know. Know who you dating.
Hold up. I just called her and asked could she just get Junior some shoes. She couldn't even get him no church shoes. I'm taking her ass downtown. Now, when you go downtown, you go down there and you get $500.
Right.
Now you mad because you get $500, and now you really ain't getting no shoes for Junior or Lord CC because you're getting $500 now.
Right.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if you're a good father, if you're a good father or a good mother, and you're paying child support, right? You still gonna go ahead and do all that because
hold up.
It's just what it is.
Hold on, and that's another situation.
Right.
But you know what that creates? Now when we at the party, mommy and daddy ain't even down there speaking to each other. Cause daddy done paid for the party and he done came out of pocket this month with $600.
Right, that's your child.
Be mad.
Listen. He shouldn't be mad, but he also has another child with his wife.
That's on him.
Okay,
go ahead.
He got another child with his wife.
Okay.
Right. And you're
with
taking
his wife
you're taking away from him.
And they taking away
and you're taking away from
Well, he should have kept it in his pants.
Exactly.
Should have kept it in his pants. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Stop complaining.
You on some whole, he on some whole other shit over here.
What's up, everybody? It's Marnie from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping.
I mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather. Punching her.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Black by Demand Radio Show. Today's topic, mental health in the black community. Now I see the comments here. Okay, I see you, Terry. What's going on, brother? Terry says, yes, that's so real. Why do we always need a pill? Very true, my friend. That's where the real drug dealers get down at, Terry. Pharmaceuticals. Okay, so let's talk medications. So it says some studies indicate that African Americans metabolize many medications more slowly than the general population. Yet we are more likely to receive higher dosage. That's what you just talking about, right? This may result in a greater chance of negative side effects and decreased likelihood of sticking with the meds. I didn't know that. So they doping us up? Giving us something a little different? Provider bias and inequality of care. African Americans, especially African American women, are more likely to experience and mention physical symptoms related to mental health problems. For example, you may describe bodily aches and pains when talking about depression. A healthcare provider who is not culturally competent might not recognize these as symptoms of a mental health condition. Additionally, African American men are more likely to receive a misdiagnosis of schizophrenia, which I've seen that before. I've had family and friends that got diagnosed with that when expressing symptoms related to mood disorders or PTSD. In addition, African Americans of all ages are underrepresented in outpatient treatment, but overrepresented in inpatient treatment. Few African American children receive treatment in privately funded psychiatric hospitals, but many receive treatment in publicly funded residential treatment centers for emotionally disturbed youth. That's interesting. Right? That's interesting. So a lot of the African children are, not getting into the privately funded ones, which, okay. Right? But you can get into the public one. So, of course, I'm going to assume the private sector is offering better treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, man, this is not good. I definitely relate to, as a black man, they just want to quickly say schizophrenia. He's probably a little crazy. And again, that black man is not going to be able to express to a Caucasian therapist the stresses he deals with every day when the alarm clock goes off. Just waking up and going into this world. Because that black therapist may be able to say, no, I know what you're experiencing, so let's talk about that, because that plays a major part. And I'm sure you're not going to be able to get that, even if you find the nicest that wants to try to relate, but I just can't see it. I want to talk to somebody black. I want to talk to somebody who understands the black experience. Do we think the black experience plays a part? Because that's why I'm here, because of my black experience. Whether that black experience is from family, environment, society, it's a black experience that has caused me to kind of be under these circumstances.
We hear the joke all the time. I'm calling out black today.
Right.
But it's a real thing.
That's a real thing, right? Yeah, like I woke up black this morning.
You ever heard the joke, I'm calling out black today?
I'm using that.
No.
Calling out black next Monday, y'all. Won't be here.
You get when social media and all you're seeing is an image of a black man being murdered by a police officer, right? Yes. And it's gone viral, and we're having this conversation online because that's really our only outlet at the time. And it's a constant thing, and we're watching the video over and over, and we're having these discussions because it's important to us. and we should have the discussions because we have to in order to address the issues. But what that's doing to us as human beings is it's causing trauma, right? And so this is a trauma that we're reliving over and over and over again. And then we start to see the symptoms, which is stress. And that stress can lead to other things like depression and anxiety, especially anxiety, like PTSD. Like when you find yourself ready to like run and jump anytime you hear a door slam or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
the
pretty
neighborhood
bad.
that you live in, or you have like manic episodes where your energy is completely high and you just need to get out and do something. You might do something and you're not even thinking straight. And that's a symptom of PTSD. Being paranoid because you think somebody's after you, or you're so afraid to let your child out because you're afraid they might get killed or shot, or go to school because you're afraid that they might get stopped or get in a fight or get beat up after school. There's so many things that happen in certain communities that don't happen in other communities that causes trauma-related symptoms, and that's something that we obviously have to look at when it comes to like being misdiagnosed. Like you just can't just tell me I'm schizophrenic because I'm having these crazy thoughts, quote unquote crazy thoughts. But if someone who was a vet somewhere, or a white person or a white kid who saw another friend get hit by a car, automatically you know that's PTSD. You know you're going to diagnose them with post-traumatic stress right away and give them all the resources that they need. But because it's our quote unquote everyday and people normalize it, they think, oh, that's the norm for them.
To hear gunshots and see people getting murdered.
So if you react to that, all of a sudden you have schizophrenia.
That's
PTSD. And that's something that can be dealt with on a very basic level, where if you just get the help that you need, if you're taught the skills on how to cope, that's the biggest thing that causes illnesses. It's not that you go through the trauma, it's that you don't have the skills to cope with it.
Skills to cope with it.
And
oh,
that's
that makes sense.
We have to learn in our community.
Yes.
Coping skills.
Coping skills
will help a lot of these symptoms.
Because we kind of got to go at your neck or do nothing at all. Right?
Exactly.
Like, we know how to go at each other's neck. So it can reach highlighted arguments, heightened arguments, and violence. But then when it's something more serious, mental health, it's like, I don't know, he's crazy. That's it. Like, that's not
and
good.
Going back to what you said earlier, you made a really good point about how people automatically tell people what's wrong with their life. What you're doing wrong. You need to get a better job. You need to stop messing with so-and-so.
Ever since that man came in your life.
Instead of recognizing that they just, regardless of how much they change in their life, this issue is going to keep happening because they don't have the skills to cope with life. You have to have skills in order to cope with life, because life is hard. Life is hard for everyone. So that's the biggest difference too. And people shouldn't be afraid to go out for help because they're afraid they'll be judged by saying, "Oh, I don't make enough money. That's why I have problems," or "I'm in a bad relationship. That's why I have problems," or "I have the wrong friends," or "I go out every night." Whatever the reason is, you don't want people to have to come back at you and feel like you're sick. You need to say it's your lifestyle. That's
That's deep. So I'm gonna put a question on the floor, right? So since we know that within our community, we are suffering from some of these mental illnesses, right? What part does that play in how we deal with our children? Because we're having some mental illness issues that we don't know about. Does that play a part in sometimes the way, let's say within the black community, nobody's surprised if you see a black father or a black mother cussing the children out. Get your ass over there. Is us being like that, coming from the things we suffer through each day in society, and that anger can come out and be directed towards the children? Are we pushing mental illness onto them without even knowing it? Because we don't even know that we are suffering from some mental illness just from waking up every day and being in, basically a hostile society. Everything hostile. Everything from walking through your neighborhood to when you go to work and deal with other races who think you're hostile because you're from a hostile neighborhood. You get what I mean? So are we passing this along and not knowing it?
100% yes.
Yes.
We are truly passing trauma down to our children.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, we passing this trauma down. Because that's what it makes me think about, because again, it was normal. So whatever I went through as a child, it was just normal to me. But then, as I got older, then I would see other parents, and it wasn't always just white parents, just other black parents who handled their kids differently. And I'm looking at it oh, my mom would tore my ass up. But she's actually not doing that. She's over there doing something different, talking to him, you settle down, you know, whatever. And I'm thinking, wow, is that like an option on how to deal with children? I didn't know.
Think that goes back to, and I want to repeat what I said earlier. According to the Journal of American Medical Association, suicide among black children has doubled in the last 20 years.
There we go.
And I really think what you just touched on is a huge part of that. It's not simply just because what is normalized is different anymore, but because of social media, kids are seeing what other kids have,
right,
and what other people have, and why isn't like that for them. So what used to be normal as far as hitting your kids, slapping them, telling them they ain't no good, asking them what's wrong with them all the time, telling them to shut up and sit down, you ain't nothing, you just like your daddy, get out of my sight.
The abuse.
It is verbal abuse.
Right.
It's mental abuse. You're abusing these children. They can't develop healthy
states of
esteem,
mind. Right.
Self-esteem because of this, and it's constant. They get it when they wake up in the morning, when they walk out the door, as soon as they get to school, their teachers are yelling at them. The crossing guard done yelled at them. They've been yelled at all day in school. The gym teacher yelled at them. They come home, the crossing guard yelled at them again. The bus driver honked at them, told them get out the way.
The other kids yelled at them.
The other kids pushed them around.
Right. Wow.
And they get in the house and they get hit in the head for something that they didn't or did do.
Got home late, right?
And they get yelled at to get in their PJs and in the bed and told to shut up. This is a day in the life of certain children.
That will
How
produce,
is that not going to produce some type of mental illness? Right?
Wow.
And
One day.
these days, the increase that we're seeing in young black kids taking their own lives is that they see that this is not normal, but they also don't see a way out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't have a place they can go. They don't have someone that they can talk to. You have to think about with young people, resources are different because they can't just get up and go to the doctor.
Right.
You know, your parents are responsible for that.
Right.
We have to look after our children. We have to let them express themselves. We have to listen to them. Otherwise, how will they get it out? How will they be able to process that stuff? So, you know, people are completely surprised, and I can't believe he never told me he had problems. I didn't know he was being bullied at school. These parents are so taken aback when their kids take their own lives. But 9 times out of 10, they were showing signs.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, they were showing signs, and nobody took heed to it.
Correct.
Everybody just chalked it up like he'll be all right.
Caught up in life and working and providing that a lot of parents aren't home to see their kids going through that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, I think there's so many other factors in them just not taking the time to look, but just like trying to maintain everyday life. You know, for them single mom who can't be with her son every day.
Right.
What is she gonna do when he's suffering through depression and she's not there to see that?
Right.
And plus, you can't look for something you're not familiar with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's that thing. You know what I mean? We don't discuss it. So you got a lot of parents who are not even aware that mental illness could be passed on to their children.
Exactly.
And maybe their verbal abuse could play a major part in pushing that. Because I think we kind of look at it like it's just toughening their skin. And that's not always the case.
And it's that's how my daddy raised me, so.
Oh, yeah. You know,
I came out fine.
Yeah,
I got whooping.
I came out fine. I only beat you 4 times a week. I got beat 6. You all right?
I am just so happy you're here today, Felicia. All this information is just so necessary.
Yeah.
It's so necessary.
The conversation is necessary.
Yes, it is.
Definitely a conversation that needs to be had.
Are having a conversation.
So I want to get back to what we were saying about the provider, right? And like you were saying, don't be afraid to ask your provider questions, right? So here's a few questions you can ask. Have they ever treated other African Americans, right? Right. Like, am I your first one? Because if so, I'm leaving.
I got no experience.
Yeah, no experience.
With my kind.
Right. I don't want to be your Tuskegee, case. Have you received training in cultural competence on African American mental health? So if you do deal with someone who's not black, these are questions you can ask, and you shouldn't be ashamed to ask these questions. And they should not be offended. So I'm going to go on record and say, if you ask these questions and that doctor gets offended, you should not deal with that doctor.
Absolutely. You
should not deal with that. How do you plan to integrate my beliefs and practices into my treatment? We about to put them to work. Yeah. How are you going to consider who I am? So those are great questions, because one of the things about a doctor visit period, right, for whatever it is, like most of the time we don't ask questions. You know, like, I remember being younger. Like, when I have to go to the doctors, like, I'm almost offended the way the doctor comes in. You know what I mean? Like, I sit in that waiting room for 20, 30 minutes. Okay? Then I go in the room, sitting there for another 15 minutes. He finally walks in. He's gone in 1.2 minutes. You know? Just comes in. They don't really listen to what you feeling. It's just like, what you got going on? Well, my elbow. Well, let me look at it here. Let me see. Yeah, that's just tendonitis. I'll be right back. You know?
I'll get you a prescription.
Get you a prescription, you know? So I never felt like it was personal, and that was what I did love about my black doctor. You know what I mean? Especially when I had got with him, he had just got up here, so he was kind of new in the field too. So we kind of grew together over the years, because he's really not that much older than me. But I feel personal with him now. You know, I can say certain things. You know, I can go in and, you know, how's everything going, Mike? Doc, you know how it go, man. I'm just out here trying to survive. He relates to that. No, I understand. Well, let me help you with your health. That way we can work on this together. I can't do that with, you know, a different professional. You know what I mean? And you're going to deal with any preconceptions they have, like you were saying, with the person in the office. Right. When they come in there and see you. What if it's a day I wanted to wear some sweatpants and he hasn't telling me have my hat on, cocked sideways a little bit. You know, he's already got a certain impression. You know what I mean? In his mind, I look like the dude his daughter was dating 20 years ago that he didn't like, right? So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, that, you know, all that plays a factor. So I think it's important, you know, get some people that look like you, you know, see if they can help you out.
And because we have so little, and again, I am advocating for more of us to get into the field. But because there aren't a lot of us, when you do have a doctor, whether it's physical or mental therapist, hold them accountable. You know, we have to start holding our doctors accountable on how they talk to us, how much time they spend listening to us. If you don't feel comfortable with the treatment, if you don't feel comfortable with how they're treating you, their bedside manner or whatever, report that to your insurance company. Right. Insurance companies take appeals, they take grievances, and that messes with their pockets. If insurance doesn't want to pay them, then they're not going to get paid for that service. So don't be afraid to speak up. Speak up. Make a little bit of noise.
Make a little bit of noise.
Our services are better. They have to be better.
Yeah, that's a valid point, because we have definitely been conditioned and trained not to speak up.
Whatever.
Take whatever. I tell people that all the time. Like, I've been with black people and, like, see, it's a restaurant, store, whatever. Something's not right, right? And then I go to address it. Like, you see the nervousness on everybody black around. You know what I mean? They looking like, oh God, Mike is about to say something, right? And, you know, and then I just go about saying it in a nice, politically correct way. I know all the games they're going to play and how they're going to try to make it seem this way. And then I get it done, and they just sitting there looking, and you can see they're like, that wasn't that bad. Right. It's like, nah, bro, I know they want an emotional reaction. I'm not going to give that. I'm just simply going to explain what I'm unhappy with. So anyway, let's take our next break. We'll be back by the Man Radio Show. Stay tuned. Yeah, they keep us quiet.
50s, late 40s, early 50s. That's not uncommon. It's a lot of. I mean, I can give you examples like that.
But it's a good thing he's dead, because she can actually move on. Like, you can't move on. If he was alive, if he was alive and she found out she was having sex with her father for 15 years, you can't move on from that. Somebody's got to die.
You can't. It's gonna be hard.
Somebody's got to die.
So wait, that means he didn't know either, though.
Immediately, so I can stop vomiting, because I don't have nothing else left to vomit. All my insides, all my skeleton.
He didn't know either. That's what would be the crazy part.
He wouldn't. He still doesn't know, because he's dead.
How does that game go? Marry, screw, kill? How does that work when it's your dad? Oh my gosh, we talk about stuff like this and more every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Talk Lately, the radio show. Only on BeExposedRadio.com and on YouTube live, where you can see
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story. I was born into a family in a community of hustlers. Now let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, we are back, everybody. Oops, sorry. Welcome back to the Black by the Man radio show. So where we leave off here? We talking about mental health. How do you think the black community receives us when they discover someone has a mental health condition? Like, do they treat you different? Like, even with your personal situation, do you feel like afterwards, like, people now, like, kind of walked on eggshells around you, like, don't speak too loud, because we got stupid stigmas, you know what I'm saying?
See, that's a two-way street, because there is a lot of projection that people with mental illness have. Again, like I said before, where you feel like you're a burden. You don't want to be seen as a person that always has a problem. You gotta walk on eggshells. This person can't say certain words.
Right.
All of that triggering words. Triggers are a big thing for PTSD. You want people to respect it, but you don't want people to have to walk around on eggshells.
Right.
Now that I'm healthy, and let me just put this out there, because I'm healthy and happy doesn't mean I don't have illness.
Sure,
you know what I mean? I live with it.
Especially still being in this society.
Exactly.
Unless you go somewhere else, right? You still living with some things.
So people have to respect. I always say respect the illness. Whether you have it, you need to respect the fact that you have this illness, or if other people know it about you. You have to respect it. The same way people respect cancer, they respect that disease.
That's right.
They know somebody got cancer. They going, how you feeling today?
Right. Exactly. Because it is one day at a time.
Exactly. It's the same way with this type of illness. You have to respect the illness. Right. Respect it for yourself. If you know you have it, make sure that you have your resources. Who do I reach out to if I'm having a bad day? You got to have a support system.
Right.
Because just like, again, if you have cancer, you can have a support system. Because people know if you respect the disease that you're going to have bad days.
Right.
And you don't want to feel like it's a burden to anyone. And then on the other end of that, you don't want to. I don't know. It's hard to say this. I don't want to use the word disability. It's like when people have PTSD from war. They say don't use fireworks around people like
triggers,
that.
right? More triggers.
Exactly. It's the same type of thing. It's like you don't want people to think you don't want to say you have a disability, but again, you want people to respect the fact that you have this illness. And then when you get better, a lot of times the stigma or what it looks like is because if you don't look like you have this disease, if you don't look like you're sick, you don't look like you have the illness, people forget.
Right.
They forget that, you're living with the illness. Then I'm healthy. I rarely get, unless it's my close support system, people saying, oh, how are you, how are you doing? Are you okay? Is this okay for you? People think that if you look fine and you're able to express and you touch something, you're fine and people don't have to be concerned about it anymore. So you want people to respect and know it. And again, like I said before, your medical history is private, so you don't always have to share it.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm hoping that we can talk about it enough so that the stigma is taken away from it. So when we do say it, people aren't automatically like, ooh,
uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about this.
We can just be like, this is what it is.
This is what it is.
This is how we deal with it. These are the steps we take. This is what we look for, and we know if something comes up, this is what we do. We need to have steps put in place for people so that they, again, are aware, look for signs to keep.
And I think that would help other people who are suffering in silence, to see someone like you, you know what I mean, to say, listen, this is what it is, you know what I mean, and this is not a Felicia thing. This thing is spread out way past Felicia. Felicia's just the one who's, willing to say, I want to help, because I've been through this and I know what people deal with.
A healthy and happy life coming from that. You can have, you can be at the bottom.
I love that. It's not over, right? It's just an obstacle, right?
It's just an obstacle.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier people being, I guess, afraid or have anxiety about getting a diagnosis. Diagnoses are scary.
Yes.
Right? That's a scary thing to be have that title over you, have that diagnosis over you. And you hear people talk about it back when we were the AIDS epidemic, and once people start understanding that this is something that you can live with, it's not a death sentence, automatically.
Automatically.
It's the same kind of idea where it's just like, just because you have that diagnosis, it just means now you can get resources, now you can get help. But a happy and healthy life is still possible.
Yes, I like that, because I believe there probably are people who feel like it's not. You know what I mean? They could get to a certain point like, I can't come out of this. I've been like this for years. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
And the whole point of this conversation, so people go get help, so that you can be healthy.
Yeah, so you can be healthy.
There is help out there. You have to get professional help.
Yes.
And I probably was living with it for over 10 years.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably were clueless, huh?
Exactly. A lot of people were clueless.
Right. Saying, hey, Felicia's got it together, you know? Yeah. Can we do well at hiding? We're so breeded to hide stuff, right? So we do well at it, you know? I tell people that I've had people say to me, like, Mike, you always just seem up-tempo, upbeat. And I'm just like, bro, I got problems like everybody else. You know what I mean? I just, you know, focus on this and, you know, try not to think about it. Because, you know, like you said, you don't want to wear it on your sleeve.
Exactly.
You don't want to be going up to people like, hey, how you doing? I'm depressed.
And what's important about what you just said is that you have developed, somewhere in life, you developed coping skills. It's not that you don't have problems.
Right.
It's not that you haven't suffered something.
That's right.
Just you've developed coping skills.
Coping skills, yes. Thank you, because that's what that is. And I could not put that in better words. I got some good coping skills.
I think I have some great coping skills.
I'm just going to smile through it.
Yep.
You know?
My goodness.
Nice. So what about, let me see. I had my next question here. I'm going to throw out there on the floor. Okay. I got dead air time. I'm sorry, ladies. Oh, here we go. I was going to ask, what do you think would be a great place to start for someone? Because the article was saying, you know, like if you can't right off the bat find a professional to deal with this, you could actually start by your family care physician and speaking with them and helping them to do an assessment on you.
Yes.
And that'll help you get your referral, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That is the top for, that would be the first place to start for people who may not be comfortable going outside of a medical professional to get help.
Right.
However, and I understand we're not in Philly, but in Philadelphia there is a workshop, or it's like, you know how you get trained for CPR? There's a training for people for crisis and mental health. So it's at healthymindsphilly.org.
Nice.
You can sign up for training to help people in your community.
Wow.
With mental health problems.
Okay.
That's something I want to advocate for, to spread it a little bit more.
Yes.
To get in different communities.
Wow. And it's free training?
It's free training.
Wow.
You can get trained for adults or for youth.
Yeah.
And basically, you'll be able to recognize the signs. You'll be able to, and you'll get resources so that when you do see the signs, you can recommend somebody on where to go. There also are crisis hotlines. I'll get that information so we can give that at the end of the show. And then there are a couple other organizations that you can reach out to if you are having either suicidal thoughts, or if you think you're depressed, or if you think you're sick. So.
Nice. Okay. Well, after this break, we're going to let you give that information out, because that's going to be helpful to someone.
Yeah.
Someone's going to watch this. It'll be on YouTube forever. You know what I mean? Nice. Miss Felicia Roche will be back after this break. Stay tuned. Nice. See, I didn't know.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty when he rants about his staff.
I agree. Can you come on? I told you stop touching that button. Why is it so loud? God. Did you turn one all the way up again? Do I have to come in there? God damn her. If it was going right, I would let you do your part, but I'm sorry, but it's just not functioning the way it's supposed to be.
You're live on the air.
I told you mind your business.
Well, Monty, if I can comment on the Jennifer Holiday situation, I can.
I know I'm live on the air. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay. I know I'm live on the air. This is why this whole show is called Talk Lately. Anyway, let's get back to every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool! You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and close the show out, everyone. As I said, we had a few little technical difficulties today. But I wanted to take time to give a proper closing. I want to thank Miss Felicia Roche for sitting in with us today on our discussion, the Black by the Man radio show. If you want, you can go ahead and tell the place you were speaking of to get the free training in Philly.
Yeah, so it's healthymindsphilly.org is where you can go to sign up for training, or you can just Google mental health training.
Nice.
Philadelphia. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. There's a whole song about it. So
okay, easier to remember, right? Easy to remember.
I will also suggest for our community to visit the Black Brain campaign. That's a mental health. It's a website for mental health illnesses and resources for Black wellness. And you can also follow me FPR _networking either on Twitter or Instagram, or my name Felicia Roche on Facebook.
Nice. Check out on Facebook and Instagram. And again, we thank you for sitting in with us. And as always, my co-host, the lovely Ms.Janice and Miss Samantha D. This has been a great show. Appreciate the discussion. Miss Felicia, we are looking forward to you coming back, hanging out with us, and we'll chop it up again. And as usual, I'm your boy, Brother Mike, and you already know I'll catch you on the flip side, black side. Peace.
So, since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book